The information provided on the Forever Young Show by its host or sponsors is for educational and personal alternatives. Statements have not been established by the Food and Drug Administration. They are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Welcome to the Forever Young Radio Show. Over the past 2 decades, we have had the opportunity to serve and help so many listeners. We do that by bringing on respected educators in all fields of health and wellness. We pride ourselves on keeping consumers in the know about our ever-changing healthcare system and ways to support the body. Each week, with the help of our special guests and experts, we have one goal in mind, and that's to ensure every listener has the most up-to-date information on ways to support all aspects of health. Now, here's your host.
Hello, everyone. So glad you could join us today right here on Forever Young. If it's the first time that you've come across our show, whether it be on the traditional radio dial, Sirius XM 131, or any of our wonderful podcast platforms, thank you for finding us and listening to the program. Our mission and why we show up each and every week is to inform and educate every listener on healthier lifestyle options and good quality science-based information. If you'd like to learn more about us, it's very easy to do so. You can go and check out our website, and that website is foreveryoungradio.com. Again, foreveryoungradio.com. There you can listen to past shows. I think we have over 670 podcast episodes and multitude of articles that range from every single health topic, including a new one that we have featured on there talking about the benefits of using a quality aloe vera to shed some unhealthy weight as we come out of the winter. Now we have a very special first-time guest today, and we're being joined by Coach Sarah Joy, founder of Coach Sarah Joy, a certified transformational nutrition coach and holistic master coach who helps people uncover the root causes of chronic symptoms often missed by conventional medicine. She specializes in advanced gut and vaginal microbiome mapping, cutting-edge hormone analysis, and hair, mineral, and heavy metal testing tools that are decades ahead of mainstream care. Sarah creates fully individualized whole body protocols addressing gut and vaginal dysbiosis, viral infections, mineral deficiencies, heavy metal toxicity, and often overlooked roles of the environment, stress, trauma, mindset, and emotional and spiritual health. Sarah is also the educator and trainer for Aloe Life, a role she's held for the past 3 years. After personally reversing Hashimoto's, hyperthyroidism, HSV1, and Epstein-Barr, and healing from years of trauma, her work is grounded in lived experience, deep compassion, and a powerful commitment to helping others reclaim their health, clarity, and quality of life. Sarah, such a total joy to have you on the program today. Thank you for agreeing to be with me.
Hi. Oh, thank you so much for having me on today.
I mean, what a bio. You've been busy. You've been busy with your own health, and you've been busy with helping so many people out there. And, you know, when we talk to somebody for the first time, we really like to learn about our guests. So if you wouldn't mind, please share with the listeners how you kind of got started on your healing journey and have been able to really help others.
You're right. I have been busy, and I would love to share my journey. It begins with a total life collapse during the 2008 crash. In a single season, my husband lost his job, our home was auctioned off, and my career was stripped of its benefits. I was forced to move into my in-laws' home while shielding my 5-year-old son from his father's infidelity and addiction. To say the least, Kelly, I was in survival mode. By 2009, my body broke. I received my first diagnosis of hypothyroidism, but that was just the beginning. For years, I became a professional patient, eventually collecting over 25 chronic symptoms, everything from memory loss and hair loss to agonizing food reactions and panic attacks. By 2015, I was 34 years old, unable to work, and I had just been handed a second diagnosis of Hashimoto's. And honestly, I had completely given up. But everything changed in August of 2016 when my brother was shot 14 times to death by the San Diego Police Department. That tragedy was my ultimate wake-up call. Seeing his life cut short stripped away every excuse I had to stay in an abusive marriage and accept a life of miserable health. So I realized that if the doctors weren't going to save me, I had to save myself. So that loss gave me the fire to change everything. I filed for divorce. I moved home to San Diego. I went back to college for a new health and fitness degree, and I became a certified transformational nutrition coach. I decided that if the traditional medical system couldn't give me answers, I would find them out myself. So I stopped chasing trendy solutions and I started a data-based approach. I began running my own advanced labs and implementing holistic protocols based on what my body actually showed me. And for the first time, I wasn't guessing, I was targeted, and it worked. I put my conditions into remission. I undiagnosed myself from those medical labels and regained a life that I thought was gone forever. So after you go through a massive transformation like that, I couldn't help but want to support others too. And in essence, it became my calling. So since the launch of my company in 2020, I've operated under one philosophy: test, don't guess. And today I partner with Microbiome Labs, Endo Access, Trace Elements, and FullScript to provide advanced testing technology, things that mainstream doctors don't even know exist. And like you mentioned, I create personalized protocols that address the real reasons of symptoms women are told to just live with. And I went from a silent struggle to total freedom, and now I'm here to help my clients do the same.
I want to cry for you for the earlier years, but then I'm so just happy for you and the success that you've reached and the change and that total transformation you made within yourself. And I love that you turned it into a positive and completely have changed your world, the world of your children, and the wonderful people that you consult every day. Listeners, we have to run out to a break. Please go to foreveryoungradio.com and click and learn more about Coach Sarah Joy.
There's a big difference in aloe products. Since 1991, Aloe Life has been dedicated to developing only the best quality aloe vera products. Learn more at aloelife.com and use the code HEALTH20 for 20% off your first order at aloelife.com.
Welcome back, listeners. Again, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the show today. Being joined by Coach Sarah Joy, again, shared her story and her struggles from the beginning to where she has ended up now. And on the other side of things, being able to not only help herself, but help so many people out there. Now, Sarah, we mentioned in the beginning, that you're also an excellent trainer for Aloe Life. Aloe Life has been a partner of the show for goodness, going on 25 years. Karen Masterson Cook was my mentor in the early years, just a wonderful individual. But you also mentioned that you counsel people across the country. When you're doing that, what are some of the chief complaints you hear when helping others? Are they similar, or do they kind of range depending on where the person is located?
Honestly, location really doesn't matter. The primary complaints seem to be the same across the board because, a lot of my clients are not only multinational, but international. And so the complaints are bloating, constipation, poor digestion, heartburn, fatigue, and anxiety. To share some of these primary complaints, I want to start with some case studies from my clients with you. First of all, client number one, she was only 32 years old, and this was before she came to me. She went to the doctor so many times for extreme bloating and constipation that had put her in the ER 3 times. And she was so frustrated. I remember she was sharing with me, crying, how they were just like, you know what? You're just getting older. And she's like, seriously, I'm 32.
Yeah.
So that's when she looked for another solution, and that was me. So after she hired me, I ran her 19-page gut mapping analysis, and I found her in a really bad state of SIBO. So another little backstory, she started going to the gym and working out a lot and was getting on that competition page trying to get fit. Mm-hmm. So her bacterial patterns really went in line with the diet that she was currently on, which was trying to consume 150 grams of protein, or of chicken in particular, a day. So I found her in high protein fermentation, which was causing the bacteria to off-gas huge amounts of hydrogen sulfide and methane. And I also found her with 6 bad bacterial overgrowth. And this all started from a combo of years and years of antibiotics mixed with a low fiber diet. And again, like I mentioned, that excessive amount of chicken every day. So her gut was just basically a mess. So that what was causing the extreme bloating and constipation simultaneously. But yes, she's actually still in my world all these years later, and we were able to fix it. But the first thing I did with her, because the situation was so severe and she was actually in a lot of pain, I had her purchase the Stomach Plus formula by Aloe Life and the Fiber Mate. And she started implementing these 2 products right away, and it brought down the bloating and it opened up her detox pathways so she could eliminate, and her symptoms just instantly started feeling better. And then next, I had a client who was even younger, 23. Interesting that it was a similar situation. She was actually a personal trainer, and she had started doing things with her diet to, in her words, get shredded. So, right. So she cut out a lot of her whole foods. She was miserable. She was starting to show thyroid issues, just a lot, very symptomatic, chronic symptoms, to the point where she couldn't even be a personal trainer anymore. She was too fatigued and bloated. So after not getting help from the medical system, she came and hired me. And it was really concerning because I found her with severe low blood sugar on her labs. And again, in her gut test, she was in a pretty severe state of malabsorption. So I started her right away, also on the Stomach Plus formula by Aloe Life. And her nauseousness, she was feeling so nauseous for 3 days straight that she wouldn't even eat. And that didn't help her blood sugar situation. So I know that the whole leaf aloe juice, it naturally helps stabilize the blood sugar and it helps bring down nauseousness. So that was the product that I started bringing in right away with her. And she too was like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Thank you for sharing this with me. And then we went on to a bigger protocol to be able to fix all the root causes of what was going on beneath all of that.
One of the things with Stomach Plus formula by Aloe Life is I also know that a lot of pregnant women take that because of the anti-nausea, but the side of it that's most beneficial is the benefits of getting that inflammatory load, lessened when you're dealing with this. And as we talk about people who are trying to get shredded and they go to the gym, another thing, I know we didn't plan on talking about it, you see them carrying the gallons of water, and that is not the way to hydrate. I mean, when you want to hydrate, you pick up certain things like electrolytes, and I've read a lot of good beneficial information about Aloe Life and aloe vera within itself, how that also can help. So again, when people are dealing with SIBO or they're dealing with other gut issues, it's no joke. So what are some of the steps? I mean, you run the microbiome mapping system, which is incredible, by the way, because if most people are just getting their annual blood work done and their GP is telling them they're fine, they don't know what's going on within the intestinal tract. They're not really even testing blood sugar levels. So tell me what steps after you get that information you kind of implement. Do you counsel them on diet? Do you counsel them on supplement protocols? Give us a little bit of an image of what goes behind the scenes.
There's actually a lot that goes into repairing someone's gut dysbiosis because we're looking at years of antibiotics. Some of the things that I ask my clients on our discovery call is I say, I want you to think back to the youngest age that you can remember and tell me every single time you were sick and every single time you had to take an antibiotic. Because every single time that they had to take an antibiotic, that was a gut bomb. I call it like a nuclear bomb. You bombed your gut and you destroyed a lot of your good bacteria. And what happens when we're on antibiotics is the bad bacteria overgrows back faster and worse. So a lot of the gut dysbiosis is caused first and foremost from antibiotics. But what people also don't understand is the herbicides and pesticides that are on food is a patented and classified antibiotic as well. So it just kind of adds to the dysbiosis. But then, the nutrition aspect of it too, it's like the trendy diets, they really don't support having a healthy gut microbiome. We really need to supply our gut with plant fibers because it prefers to ferment carbohydrates, which is that big plant, like big term overall of fibers and whole foods. So depending on the severity of their dysbiosis, there are a lot of science-backed products that I bring in order to bring down the bloating and the bad bacterial overgrowth. But like I mentioned before, I always bring in the Stomach Plus formula because it's an herbal bitter. Okay. And a lot of people, it's not only the dysbiosis and the SIBO isn't only occurring in your gut, it's starting in your stomach. And the first thing that I find a lot of my clients, their issues are with low hydrochloric acid and low minerals. And so the Stomach Plus formula is a herbal bitter. So as soon as it hits the tongue, it will stimulate the stomach to produce the hydrochloric acid. And it also helps with stimulation of bile acids. So it's really critical for people with SIBO to have proper acid and bile levels to help break down their food completely, preventing those undigested particles in the colon that go and feed the bacteria overgrowth. But what I also love about it is it calms, like you mentioned, that inflammation and the irritation. That's a big deal. It's very painful. So it has 11 herbs in it as well, with chamomile and ginger and peppermint that soothe and relax the intestinal tract. And it helps manage people's flare-ups. So that's why my clients are getting that instant relief. And they're like, oh, I can eat, or, I can button my pants. And it really calms the over-acidity and the sensitivities. Plus, it helps reduce the gas and the bloating. But the other thing that I really love bringing in too, because I do a food tracker on my clients, because I look at the whole system, right? Mind, body, spirit. I also have them track their food for a week and show me. People, I'm telling you, Kelly, everyone's like, oh, I eat clean. Oh, I eat so clean. And then I get their food tracker back and I'm like, excuse me? This is your clean eating.
Yeah.
And, there will be completely like whole families of food categories that don't even exist. Like they don't eat fruit. And I'm like, honey, you
gotta eat fruit. And I'll leave you with a thought. I asked somebody, what are you doing to take care of your gut? And they tell me, I'm eating yogurt every day. Okay, what kind of yogurt are you eating? Meanwhile, it has 30 grams of sugar in it. It's not a clean yogurt. That is not the way to re-inoculate your gut, especially if you've been taking antibiotics. So when we come back from the break, I really want to pick up on that. But again, learn more on our weekly highlight page at foreveryoungradio.com. We'll be right back.
Friends, it seems like everyone is suffering from some kind of digestive issue. And with digestive issues on the rise, we need to act today. And Stomach Plus formula by Aloe Life works fast to soothe and calm digestive upset, occasional indigestion, bloating, nausea, and gas. This herbal tonic helps balance stomach acids, calming the intestinal tract naturally. Aloe Life selected 12 of the most effective herbs used by herbalists for centuries to support multiple digestive concerns. The quality whole leaf aloe carries the herbs deep down into the tissues for fast relief, suitable for children, adults, and even pets. In fact, many women have included Stomach Plus by Aloe Life to help calm cramps and morning sickness. There's a big difference in aloe products. Since 1991, Aloe Life has been dedicated to developing only the best quality aloe vera products at the best price. Learn more at aloelife.com. That's aloelife.com, and use the code HEALTH20 for 20% off your first order.
Welcome back, listeners. Again, being educated by Coach Sarah Joy, all about what's going on when we're dealing with SIBO, gut dysbiosis, the foods we're putting into our body each and every day. A lot of times people will just hammer a ton of protein and not really understand that protein maybe isn't what works best for their system. And I think in a lot of ways, they don't understand that they may have gluten issues or gluten intolerance. So please continue on and pick up and finish your final thoughts on that.
So after I get my client's food tracker back, I see that they're not eating greens. They don't like their salads. They don't really like their veggies. They're not eating their fruits. And I'm like, where's your fiber? Yeah. So it's okay. People, they kind of admit to me in a guilty face of like, oh, I don't like vegetables. I don't like eating salads. And I'm like, it's okay. I have something to help you supplement. So the Daily Greens by Aloe Life is fantastic. It has such a great variety of different greens that I just have them start integrating into a smoothie, a quick, easy smoothie in the morning. And it helps them get that fiber that they're completely missing, that their gut needs in order to have a healthy, balanced bacteria. And then it depends, like with my client who is severely constipated, I will also bring in the Fiber Mate to be able to just, again, like support those opening up the detox pathways, because the majority of my clients, they are not eliminating daily. And that is a big problem too when it comes to supporting healthy estrogen levels in our gut microbiome. So especially for women, we need to be eliminating 1 to 3 times a day. And if you're not, that means you need to bring more fiber into your diet. So these are the things that bring down bloating and constipation and brain fog and anxiety, because we have that whole gut brain axis that's real. So whatever we do to support our gut, it's going to help us feel better overall, especially in our mental health, our focus, and our sleep. So I love being able to support them on top of the Stomach Plus formula with the Daily Greens and the Fiber Mate.
But how long do you think it really takes once you start counseling somebody, implementing these protocols to help them get on the other side of something they were probably suffering with for years?
Honestly, it doesn't take very long because the gut microbiome is very moldable. And so I'm saying within 3 months, we can have almost all of the symptoms reversed and if not eliminated. And then it just goes into a lot of that deeper repair from things like antibiotics. So the typical protocol is 6 months. I've only had to integrate a 1-year protocol with people that had really bad results. But again, even if they're on a year-long protocol, they start feeling better so fast. And that's my favorite thing about the body, is it's just such a miraculous healing machine that when we take away what's harming it and we give it high quality products and the right foods to nourish it, it will get better.
You got to do a little work on the back end. You can't be continuing to eat a gallon of ice cream every night and being like, no worries, I'm taking these supplements, I'm drinking, the proper hydration, I'm getting in electrolytes. And one of the things Karen taught me so many years ago is the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, make sure you're getting those whole foods in, getting good quality foods. But if it's your birthday or if it's a weekend, like have yourself a little bit of a treat in balance, so you don't feel like you're so deprived. But Aloe Life really did figure out how to make a really good tasting way to be able to make those shortcuts if you're not a veggie eater, because there's nothing more annoying than going to Sprouts or the health food stores, starting and getting your meal prep for the week and seeing those vegetables look at you in the bottom drawer, knowing you're never going to touch them. So again, if you do need to implement more things like greens and fiber, a wonderful thing of following Coach Sarah Joy's recommendations. Now I want to talk about herpes simplex virus 1 and 2. I think it's no secret many people suffer in silence when they're dealing with HSV. After testing, because I know that's one of your specialties, what are some of the protocols or suggestions you make for people during that counseling? Because if you go to mainstream, typically they're putting you on some type of a pharmaceutical medication.
Yes. So this is such an important conversation to have. Thank you for bringing it up. HSV1 and HSV2 diagnoses can feel incredibly overwhelming for both men and women. I've had countless emergency coaching calls where I'm quite literally helping people calm down and feel safe again after receiving the results. And my DMs are often filled with messages from women who are scared, anxious, and not okay. And it breaks my heart. And so on top of that, like you said, people are so frustrated with the conventional approach. Antiviral medications don't always provide the relief they're hoping for. And some just don't want pharmaceuticals at all. So the more natural options that I like to turn to is the personal gel by Aloe Life. This is such a unicorn product. That's what I call it. There is nothing else like this on the market. And it is in the base of the aloe vera, but it's so soothing and supportive for that delicate tissue in all of the private areas front to back. And so my clients that are really struggling with the HSV1, HSV2 breakouts down there, and or simultaneously because they have BV, they're having yeast infections and or chronic UTIs. It's just that one magical product that I that's how I call it, the magical product that helps everything. And so I have them apply it topically, and it brings down their itching, burning, stinging, and the discomfort from the breakout flare-ups or even hemorrhoids. It's very, very gentle and nourishing, and it's even clinically endorsed as a sex lubricant. But pro tip, one of the things I have all of my clients do is actually take it to the OBGYN's office with them and ask their doctor to use it on them instead of the petroleum-based jelly, because studies have shown that just one exposure to that gel at the OBGYN's office can kill the good bacteria in the vaginal ecosystem. And that's the last thing we all want. So my clients fall in love with it. Let me tell you a true story really fast. So my client last year, she hired me to help her repair her vaginal ecosystem through my 5-page mapping analysis. And she told me in her intake forms that she was putting bleach on a panty liner and letting that soak on her private area all day when she was getting her breakouts in hopes that it would help the breakout go away. And I just cringed, and I was like, no, we're not doing that anymore. And I moved her to the personal gel by Aloe Life, and she was like raving about how much better it was and how much better it felt. And, it was soothing the symptoms, and it also helped the breakouts go away faster. And I know, I was just like,
bleach. I mean, that's crazy, because I think what people don't really understand is your microbiome isn't just in your intestinal tract and your stomach area, which we all kind of think. It's in your skin. It's all over the body. So if you're removing that or you're disrupting it and you're not building it back up, especially with what you referenced earlier, the use of antibiotics. At times people need them. I get it. But it's like you need to rebuild, because they don't know the difference. Antibiotics go in and bleach goes in, and it kills it all, the good, bad, and indifferent. So if you don't re-inoculate it, you're going to have more health issues. You're going to be up against, issues with autoimmune and fighting simple scenarios that normally your body can deal with. And then when you mix in that inflammatory load, of just our environmental stresses, our environmental toxins and things like that, goodness, I mean, people are really up against it out there. So I'm so glad that you've put these protocols into place. I feel so blessed that Aloe Life was created all those years ago. I think they're over 33 years now at this point, even going longer. And for people who have never heard about really what goes into a quality aloe vera concentrate, we have a ton of past shows on our podcast featuring the founder, Karen Masterson Cook. Please go in after you listen to this show and learn a little bit more about the polysaccharides and the very important constituents that can be found in a quality whole leaf aloe vera. And you'll learn the difference. I mean, there's a lot of aloes out there. The International Aloe Group tested some of the mainstream aloe products on the market many years ago, and you would be surprised most of them didn't even contain aloe vera. So again, we do these shows as a part of education and to put the missing pieces together of really why have you gone a little rogue in your health? Like, why are you taking some simple protocols and it's not making a difference? These are some of the areas you may want to look into. And Sarah, how can people learn more about you?
Oh, they're welcome to come to my website, coachsarahjoy.com. And I post daily on my Instagram page, which is at coach.sarah.joy. I'm always doing lives. I just hosted a free vaginal masterclass a couple of days ago. So I would love for them to follow me and come get some free training on the gut and the vaginal microbiome and more information about everything we're covering today.
Absolutely. And we're going to go ahead and put that on the weekly highlight page at foreveryoungradio.com underneath this episode. So please, if you're working out or driving, you know that it'll be housed there so you can learn more about Coach Sarah Joy. Also, if you'd like to learn about our great friends at Aloe Life, it's very simple, aloelife.com. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more and give you a special discount code for you to maybe test or try any of the wonderful 17 products that they have at aloelife.com. We'll be right back after the break.
You often hear clinical nutritionist Karen Masterson Cook talking about the remarkable benefits of aloe vera. But did you know not all aloe vera products are created equal? Not long ago, the International Aloe Science Council tested an aloe product sold from a mass market store that contained no aloe in the bottle whatsoever. When choosing aloe vera products, you should be aware there's a big difference in quality in the marketplace. Aloe Life has been crafting the highest quality certified organic aloe vera products since 1991. A concentrate containing 25 pounds of aloe leaves in every bottle with no water or sulfites added, or high heat that can destroy valuable active ingredients as in other commonly found aloe products. Aloe Life is great for children, adults, and even pets. To receive the research benefits of supporting a healthier digestive system and a whole lot more for a healthy head start, call Aloe Life today, 1-800-414-ALOE, or online at aloelife.com. Also found in finer health stores across the country. The best value at the best price. Aloe Life.
Welcome back, listeners. Again, being joined by Coach Sarah Joy. You can learn more about her by visiting our weekly highlight page at foreveryoungradio.com. Also, link and learn about our wonderful friends at aloelife.com. Now, one of the things that a lot of people are talking about, and we get a lot of questions on the show, emails about it, is heartburn. I think so often people have spent the last year using things like Prilosec, Maalox, Tums, and they're still in the same situation of where they started from because we need stomach acid. It's important. What Aloe Life product or protocols do you like to recommend to the people you're counseling?
The messaging coming from the mainstream medical system about what causes heartburn is really interesting to me because everyone is being told that is caused from an overproduction of hydrochloric acid in your stomach. But what I have found happening in my testing is it's actually the complete opposite of that. It's from having not enough hydrochloric acid in your stomach to break down your food, and that's why it burns or hurts. But I also have found in my testing that it typically goes in conjunction with one or a combo of these things, from missing the gallbladder and bile, having a sluggish liver, mineral deficiencies, and or missing keystone bacteria in your gut that also supports creating bile acids. So once you understand what's causing your heartburn, it's a really easy fix. And I have helped a lot of my clients wean off of the PPIs, some of the exact ones you named, because it's once you get started on those, it is very hard to get off of them, and the rebound can be brutal and keep you stuck on them. Similar to what I was sharing before, I love bringing in the Stomach Plus formula for heartburn in particular. This is my actual go-to for heartburn. And I had a client who retired and she had a little bit of heartburn one day, went to the doctor, was put on this high-dose PPI 4 years later. And I think 3 procedures later, she was like, please, I want to get off of this. She tried going off of it by herself, but it was just too painful. So she reached out to me and we started working together. So the protocol I used for her was we cut her pill in half and had her go down every 3 weeks, half of the pill. But then she also had to make sure to not eat trigger foods. So her trigger foods were milk, ice cream, cheese. So we had her stay off of the dairy and also off of the gluten, because for her, those were the 2 main triggers. And every time, so I had her also start 3 ounces of the Stomach Plus formula a day, 1 shot, 15 minutes in particular, before she ate her main meals, to be able to boost and support that particular organ before she put food into it. And then if she had a flare up out of nowhere, instead of running to the Rolaids or the Tums, I would have her take 1 to 2 additional shots, like as her emergency support of the Stomach Plus formula. And she would just rant and rave to me of how much she loved that product and how she felt like it saved her life because it helped her wean off of that med that she thought she was going to be permanently stuck on. But the one thing that really, really bothered me with the PPI medication in her case in particular is because you're not supposed to be on these medications for more than like 4 weeks. and she was on it for 4 years. And when you're on it long term, it puts you into a lot of nutrient deficiencies. So I also found her deficient in her Bs, her magnesium, her zinc. And so I really had to support her overall vitamin and mineral load in order to bring up the stomach acid and help wean her off of this medication as well. And then when I tested her gut, I found her with 7 gut infections, because when we don't have that stomach acid to protect us, we can start developing infections in our gut. So like what you asked before, how long did it take us to reverse this particular severe situation? I had her off that med and completely transformed her health for the better within 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Stomach Plus formula, but I'm serious, I could not have done it without that Stomach Plus formula.
Yeah. So suffer for 4 years or resolve it in 8 months. Like, that's the whole thing here. This isn't a magic bullet. This isn't an overnight thing. It's like the body needs what it needs. And the more that we're not providing it with the proper nutrients or the things that it needs to essentially mitigate that situation, the longer we're going to be dealing with it. Now, one of the things that you and I had in common is Hashimoto's, but unlike you, I still have Hashimoto's. I have the best numbers that I've ever had in my life. But what steps did you kind of take to free yourself of Hashimoto's?
This may be a little different than what you've ever been taught, but the first thing I did to help myself was set aside the standard explanation for Hashimoto's and look for the real reason behind why my thyroid was struggling. So in my opinion, what we are told about Hashimoto's isn't the full truth. So I believe if we were dealing with strictly an autoimmune issue where the body just attacks the thyroid, wouldn't we be able to get rid of it or improve it at all? Wouldn't that kind of attack just persist indefinitely? Through my own testing and data collection in 2018, 2019, that taught me that my Hashimoto's was actually triggered from the Epstein-Barr virus. So here's how this came about, Kelly. In that 2015 episode where I couldn't work anymore, I begged my doctor to take me out on medical leave, and he finally approved it. And I took all of my medical leave, which was like $500 a month or something, and I poured it into a holistic doctor. And in one sentence, she pulled like a bazillion labs on me. And in one sentence, she goes, "Wow, Sarah, okay, so it looks like you have Hashimoto's and Epstein-Barr, and you're in nutrient deficiencies." And I was like, okay. At the time, I didn't know any of that. So in 2018, 2019, when I took matters into my own hands, I remembered that sentence. And I was like, okay, she told me that about myself, but what did that mean? So I started diving into it. And as I started testing my Epstein-Barr against my thyroid antibodies, just to get like my baseline of where they were at, then I brought in all natural antiviral regimens on myself. I did these regimens for 6 months, and then I retested both my Epstein-Barr and my thyroid antibodies, and both of them had simultaneously dropped significantly. And for the first time, my TSH had stabilized, where for 12 years it was just all over the place, and I never could stabilize it. And I thought it was just kind of a fluke. But then as I started coaching and working with a lot of Hashimoto's clients, I started duplicating this process on them. And I saw the same things happening, where I was actually approaching them with antiviral protocols, and it was stabilizing and bringing down and reversing the Hashimoto's.
I love that aloe vera is safe for the entire family. I know that pets can use certain products that you have out there. I know that it's been wonderful for children who have slow bowels and are dealing with certain things. And again, working in those daily greens is a wonderful way to make sure you're getting stuff. But what would you say is your favorite Aloe Life go-to product, and why?
Okay, so that's not a fair question because I love them all. So if I had to choose my top 4, okay, it would be the Aloe Gold Plain, the Cinnamon Twist Tooth Gel, the Daily Greens Powder, and the Skin Mist. But truly, I adore this entire product line because it's all so powerful, unique, and they work. So you absolutely get your money's worth in return.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, listeners, if you want to learn more, you can find out more at aloelife.com to look at the complete line of products. You can also use the code HEALTH20, that's HEALTH20 at checkout, and that gets you 20% off on any of the 17 products with bundle savings. And there's an extra 15% off the Daily Greens Super Savings. It equals something like 50% off at aloelife.com. Go and check it out when you have time. Again, that's aloelife.com, and that code is HEALTH20. Or if you prefer, if you have additional questions and you're a little bit nervous about what you should be implementing, you can give them a call. Their phone number is 1-800-414-ALOE or 1-800-414-2563. You can also email them your questions at orders@aloelife.com and ask them if they have any health handouts that they can provide for you. If you'd like to buy at the retail level, Aloe Life products are available at over 22 health food stores and outlets, including Fraser Farms, Clark's, Mother's, Natural Grocers, Lassen's, and you can also find them on VitaCost and Amazon. Sarah, such a pleasure having you on the show today. Any parting words?
Thank you so much for having me on today. I really appreciated sharing, and I encourage everyone to get an Aloe Life product today. I promise you, you will not regret integrating them into you and your family's life.
Know that we've housed all the information on how to get in contact with Coach Sarah Joy, how to learn more about Aloe Life at our weekly highlight page at foreveryoungradio.com. Hope you have a happy and healthy week, and we'll catch you next time right here on Forever Young.